we need to invite more people is to not only, okay, you want to consume more whole grains, but also the people who are making the food products use more whole grains. Because then now we're talking on how you mill it matters. So milling matters, truly matters for flavor profile and for keeping the nutritional part. And then also freshness, because we know that things that start oxidizing with time. So how can we make that happen and work so we can get more people eating and consuming this very nutritious and delicious food?
Michael Pollan told the story that when he started to do this book on cooked, and he would go into he went to a bread factory. I won't name the name, but anyway, a large bread factory. They were making whole grain bread. And there was a PR guy taking him around this like first day on the job, and he doesn't know who Mike Pollan is. And he says, oh yeah, you know, this is, you know, we're making whole grain here, and we're putting, and this is our fiber, you know, they were putting cellulose, they were putting soy fiber into bread. So it wasn't wheat fiber. And you know, in conversation with Walsh Willits at Harvard, you know, they've been, you know, they haven't been comfortable with judging whole grain to be based on fiber, and I think David's study shows that that's not a good measurement, and in fact there is no measurement. That when you go into the store and you look at the nutrient label and you look and you're a good consumer and you're focusing in, you can't tell. There's no way you know, and I think that's one of the things that's really important about David's study. Making high protein wheat may work great if you have a big factory and you're trying to get bread out in 3 hours into a plastic bag, but it may not be so good if you're trying to make good nutritious bread.
That also brings me to the point that Dr. Jorge Dukovsky here at UC Davis say that the larger mills will ask him, we want less ash, less minerals. And he's like, why would you want that? You're making your wheat less healthy because you have less nutrients. So what they're trying to say is that we want wheat that is easily milled so they can remove the bran more easily, and hence they have less ash content into their white flour. So anyway, so with that part of having less ash, it might be related to how the bran is, how it's coming off. And then to me, it's the opposite. We should be asking exactly what you were saying. You know, more nutrient density, resilient crops that are uptaking much more of those good nutrients from the soil and bringing it to the grain.
I had some emailing back and forth with Walt from Harvard, and you know, they had been using the fiber content as their way of sort of standardizing what is really whole grain, and then developed it one more step further to have a ratio of carbohydrate to fiber. So that was the sort of 10-to-1 recommendation that they were making. But Walt definitely said they see the weakness in that it's pretty easy to add fiber by adding the bran back to endosperm, and either adding very little or none of the germ. And so what I probably didn't really clarify when in my presentation is that there needs to be a good understanding of the distribution of nutrients into the 3 different compartments. So simply by adding the bran back, you haven't created whole grain in reconstituting those mill streams. You've added fiber, and you've added some of the minerals, or ash, and maybe some of those interesting compounds like lignins. You get a few of those in the bran, but I don't know the numerical values, but it seems to me the bulk of the nutrition is in the germ. And so when the germ is not added back, or if it's cut significantly, or treated in some way to destroy the antioxidants, you really don't have whole grain. So that's the risk of fiber to me, and that's something that was echoed from Walt Willett. They understand that's our best measure. That's the consumer's best measure right now, is to go in and look at the fiber content. But even then, it is absolutely no guarantee that you're getting the germ, because there is no nutritional panel marker that correlates very well with germ other than the vitamins. So I'd like to see, I see on these boxes that say whole grain, where they're trying to give you a little more information. They mention something about the extraction And I'd love to see another value on those boxes or those product bags that says germ extraction or germ content. You know, it should have the 2 to 3% of the germ. And this is a point that Bob has made. The millers and the producers that want to make a difference and want to show that that nutrient density is in their product could easily put on the ratio of the mill streams that come back into the product that they're providing. And that's better than nothing.